Everybody, I'm Elwirfy, and today we're going to be talking about theories. What are theories, and why the Game Theorist channel is unfortunately no longer really doing theories anymore, or at least not in the traditional sense that they claimed to be long ago. Now, we'll look at what the definition of a theory is right now, according to Merriam-Webster. I think they're a very reasonable source to use to get our definition from. And their definition is of just a theory, no words attached to it, is a plausible or scientifically acceptable general principle or body of principles offered to explain a phenomena. Which essentially this means if you're not sure about something, how do we go about determining whether or not something is true or false, or whether your theory about something or your idea about something is actually correct? Well, typically you would do a scientific theory. You could follow the scientific principles and go through it, right? So you have a hypothesis, you need to set your variables, in fact, even before a hypothesis, you might ask a question, like, say I want to know, if I take this piece of bread, will it float in water or sink in water? And my hypothesis might be, I think it's going to float in the water because of all the air holes and stuff, because the bread isn't a solid object, and it's not very dense. And then you might say, well, what are the variables? Well, we have the water, and then we have the bread, and we need to have a dry piece of bread as the control to make sure that, and we need to have like water on its own, So we take some bread and we put it on the ground, and we know that that bread does not sink into the ground, so that's good. And then we take a piece of bread and we put it on the water, and then we see if it will sink or float, and then we would just know. After that, we write down the results. Pretty typical stuff. You all learned this. Here's the important thing, though. When you do a scientific theory, you're going through a process of analyzation that allows you to be very thorough and methodical, and it makes sure that you cover all your bases so that way it could be reviewed. So this is something that I guess you don't really talk about much, is that typically theories are good, and you do a scientific experiment to try and confirm or deny your theory as being correct. And then it's open for peer review, for people to look back and be like, well, I should be able to redo the experiment, right? And we should be able to see the same results. However, that is not the kind of theories that the game theorists actually seem to do anymore. And it's a little bit disappointing that they've moved away from a traditional scientific theory into, as you'll see in a second here, the now much more, in my opinion, appropriate type of theory that would be more honestly descriptive of the channel. A conspiracy theory is a theory that explains an event or set of circumstances as the result of a secret plot, usually by powerful conspirators, such as when Kennedy died. Or there might be according to the dictionary, a theory asserting that a secret is being hidden, right? And conspiracy theories, we typically talk about them as the word has evolved and changed as well. Again, based on the definition, we think of conspiracy theories as when you have an idea about something, but you maybe don't have that much evidence for it. And we get into the realm of speculation, where you might think about something, but it might not be true. And this is the root problem, right? This is the root issue that we have to come to the conclusion of and deal with when we look at a channel such as, the Game Theorist channel. And it's really disappointing to watch a channel that I've personally had a lot of respect for, integrity-wise, for all various reasons, that we've now come to a point that I do not think their channel is really representative of what they initially set out to do. So I guess, in a sense, we've come to the point in the video where I say the point of the video is that it's really easy for a big channel to lose its way from what it was originally setting out to do, which is super disappointing for the record. Nobody wants that. So as we take a look, I'm just going to run their most recent video in the background to make a good point, to make some points as we go along. I really hope that for all you small YouTubers watching, you understand the point that I'm trying to make, that you want to make sure that the content you're making is content that is interesting to you, but also stays true to what you're doing. and not just chasing after stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as you can see, as this is the most recent video that the game theorists have done on their channel, and it is essentially a video. Look at this. I didn't even go to the beginning, right? It's a video that starts off with an ad. It's muted because I don't want copyright issues, but this is an advertisement for Geico insurance, for car insurance. And you get a full minute of it before you even get into the video. And I get it, advertising, it's important, but the fact that it's now integrated into the video rather than being an ad that you would watch at the beginning of a video that might be skippable is now gone. It's completely gone, and now we have integrated ads in using Minecraft as a way to talk about Geico insurance to children. That's just really upsetting and overall disappointing. But beyond that, let me jump ahead to the point where they're actually going to talk about theories, right? You know, there's all kinds of cool, nice edits and stuff. But at the end of the day, the theories that game theorists try to make aren't really doing experiments and such the way that they used to. Remember when they started out, when they would look at the math of the pixels to figure out, whether or not the Ezio from Assassin's Creed could survive a fall into a bale of hay, or whether or not, I don't know, even back then, now that I'm thinking about it, even the earliest kinds of videos, like, is Mario a communist, right? It's more like the conspiracy theories. It's not really about a traditional theory where you're trying to find an answer to something and you going through only the facts. There's a lot of speculation. You look at obviously, I mean, it was going to come up. Their famous, Five Nights at Freddy's videos that they do so many theories on with absolutely little to no solid evidence for which they could conduct a proper experiment. And here's the difference, right? Because I know you might be thinking, well, why the heck is, are their theories different than someone else making a theory or having an idea? And there's nothing wrong with having an idea, but it's just the overall principle, I think, is what is most important here, is that they make videos that are very much so designed to say a lot, but say nothing at all. Because a theory means that you're open to being wrong, and that's fine. People get things wrong all the time, especially in the internet that we live in now. Being wrong is considered so much worse than if you were not, than if you're right about something. So, if we look at the channel's career as a whole, all of their videos are designed in such a way to entice you to be thinking about things that kind of, I just don't like the way that they create the mindset when you go into things. Because say I had a crazy idea, crazy theory, right? Conspiracy theory. That the earth is flat, right? I've heard it a million times. I'm just refusing to listen to all the overwhelming evidence for things. And I'm deciding, you know what? No matter how many times you tell me this, I think I'm right because I can connect these specific dots. When I grew up in college and I used my writing skill, I found that a lot of my success came from me being able to make connections to certain things that are completely unrelated to other things. So now having that experience, as an older adult, I can tell you that that's exactly what this channel's doing. Even if in my writings and stuff, I did not know actually whether or 100% truth or not, whether or not a basketball is connected to a bird. These guys are presenting their information as though it is factual, even though it's not. I know at the end of their video they say, it's just a theory, as if that's some sort of gotcha or get out of jail free card, but it's not. It's really not, okay? And the whole point I guess I'm trying to make is that when you go to make your video, make sure that you're presenting it in an honest fashion, and make sure that the content you're making is something that's doing great. I mean, look, you make videos like them for a long time, and here's the thing. Their channel started off with more scientific-based things, and that was really good. But as the FNAF stuff caught on, they made more and more theories about things that are, at the end of the day, more like conspiracy theories because they don't offer a conclusion. They don't offer results. And that's the root argument when you get down to it. There is no conclusion. They're not making any final statements for the most part. They say, hey, this is what we think right now, but who knows? It could all be bullshit. You know, they kind of just say that at the end of every video. And it's really disappointing. So hopefully they improve their style, which I know they won't. Let's be honest, we both know they won't. But for those of you who are smaller creators out there who are working hard, you know, just like me, to make content that's honest and interesting, make sure that if you are going to follow like a game theory style of clickbaity thumbnail design and titles, understand that you know, you're just copying one of the big guys. And if the big guys can stumble from where they were originally, there's nothing stopping you. And I just hope that as we push forward to the new age of YouTube, that we can get to a point where at one point or another, we'll be able to make content that we're really proud of. And that isn't made just to get tons of clicks. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. If you're wondering, just in case, what the conclusion, the point of the video is, be yourself. Have a good time on YouTube. Do whatever you want to do. And most of all, make sure that if you're going to talk about something, you know what you're talking about. Or at least have a point to the video, right? Make sure there's a point. Anyway, guys, I'm Elwirfy. Thank you all so much for watching. And I will definitely be seeing you guys next time. Take care, everyone.